Hey, this is amazing towing. I want to show you this morning the steps that I took to acquire this property 1,835 miles away from my base. I live in California, Riverside. This property is located in Illinois, in a very little town. Actually, it's not a town, it's a village. So first of all, let me make sure my video is recording because I'm shooting this at home. So my baby is sleeping, and you might see my cat, my baby's pumpkin's cat running around. But so this property is in a little village. I didn't even know it was a village until I Googled it, right? So the city is, or the city. We tend to call everything city in the US. But then when I Googled this place, it says it's a village. I never heard the word village, since I've been in the US. So I said, well, village, yeah, population of 2,300 people. Wow. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Amazing Towing. I am the founder of the magic of real estate, where I use real estate to create wealth for myself and for my members, for my investors and friends, and I don't know about foes, right? So GIC Deal Finders, okay, it's a website that allows ordinary folks to make money just by putting up properties on their website, on our website, right? And it's called gicdealfinders.com. So I'll write that here, gicdealfinders.com. So how many times have you driven by a property and you say to yourself, damn, I wish somebody would fix this eyesore, and you drive by every day, you drive by, nothing happens, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. It's happened to me. I've bought properties that have been vacant for 6 years that I even saw, and then 5 years later, it now finally dawned on me, Tony, why don't you try to find out who owns this damn property? Which I did. A single letter that I sent to the owner for 44 cents resulted in $17,000 profit. So going back to this property, and actually before I even finished that, right? So I made $17,000 on that property. But the problem we have is this. You drive by a property, you ignore it, and the reason you ignore it is because you really don't have a way of making money on the property, period. End of story. Because 95% of all properties sold in the country is sold by agents. And so even if you refer it to an agent, there's no guarantee you're going to get money. And there's no guarantee that even the agent will be able to list the property anyway. That's one of the reasons I founded gicdealfinders.com. Initially, I wanted to show my son how to, make money in real estate while he was driving my car around. That, look, you can't just be wasting my gas. When you see a property, make sure you write the address down and email it to me. Then it became I started like an Excel spreadsheet, then it grew into a big database, and now it's an online website, phone app that allows anyone to become a real estate property locator, and by extension, an investor, if you get involved further, okay? But really, as a member of GIC Deal Finders, all you have to do is download our app on your phone, where you are driving, doing your regular thing, going to work, grocery shopping, going to parties, you see a property that looks like needs help, take a picture, upload it, and go about your business. That's what this person did. His name is Jacob, who happened to have signed up on our website like 2 months ago. In less than 2 months, he submitted a property, one in Illinois, and the other, I think, is in Florida. So one of the properties hit. Now, as an investor, or real estate entrepreneur, as I call myself. I don't like the word investor because to be an investor, you have to, I mean, you must have a lot of money. I could call myself an investor right now, but I really prefer the word entrepreneur because when you're an entrepreneur, you're a business person. You think different from investors, you know, because you are in the process of buying, selling, expanding, building, creating, and all those kind of stuff, right? So in that process, I've done about 450 deals, okay, properties, and these are some of them in my lifetime, right, in the last 15 years. Okay, so Jayco now submitted this property on our website, and apparently Jayco, after signing up, decided, well, you know what, I might as well give it a try. So he submitted it because most people, when they get to our website and they see they can make $5,000 just for submitting a property and doing nothing about it, they're just like, well, this is too good to be true. First, they don't do anything, and then it grows on them because they get emails from me. They see videos of other people that have done it. They say, well, what the hell? I got nothing to lose. So that's what Jayco did. So he submitted this property. Prior to that, he communicated with the owner a couple of times. And so, fortunately for Jayco, the property got to my attention. And so I had been working on this plan to buy, over the next year, 50 houses, one house per state, just for the fun of it, you know, just to see if it's, I mean, I know it's possible, and how long will it take me? I was going to do it in 50 days. So I'm working on that too, right? So so my assistant brought it to my attention. So I called the owner. And so these are the steps that I went through, right? Eventually to get the property. But there are 5 crucial steps that I'm going to take you guys through, you know, in this process. Because when you are purchasing long distance, right, out of your base, if you don't have the experience, you have to know what to do. And so I'm just going to give you the step-by-step process that I did that you could follow, okay? And if you're just a deal finder, a property locator, you don't have to do all this. You just have to submit the property and then I do the rest. But if for some reason you want to become an investor, you use the word again, right? If you want to become a real estate entrepreneur, right, then these are the steps you need to follow. Or you could, you know, contact me, go on our website, gscdealfinders.com or amazingtoying.com. And I mean, in case you have questions, because I might go pretty too fast for you. So the property was referred to me, all right? So I called the owner. I analyzed the property. Now, all of these steps, you know, took a while, right? I think from the time that I talked to the owner to the time we closed was about 2 weeks. So I got a real estate agent involved, okay? And sent an offer to the owner by email, a DocuSign. I opened escrow with First American Title. Then I looked for a hard money lender to finance it because I didn't want to risk my money way down there, right? 1,800 miles away. I requested inspection, okay? And I'll tell you guys the reason I requested inspection. Then I coordinated the closing and the key exchange. So that's it, okay? So let's go. I'm gonna go step by step before I show you guys, you know, the other 5 crucial steps, all the things that happen in between. So when I first called the owner, so I asked the owner a few questions which you should ask, right? So I built a rapport with the owner. I asked the owner, well, why do you want to sell this property? Where's my phone? 1 second, right? Well, don't know where my phone is. My other phone, I mean. So I asked the owner, question number 1, you know, my name is Amazing Toying, you know, your property came to my attention, why do you want to sell it? And so she now told me the story, why she wanted to sell it. And when you hear the story, it was, I didn't even hear the whole story until towards the end of the sale. All I heard was that, well, something about Saudi Arabia, her boyfriend is in Saudi Arabia, she wants to get him out. You know, I didn't really ask for the details. So I said, how long you been trying to sell the property? And she said, well, the property is worth 125. I really want 125, but now because I wanted to sell pretty quick, I had somebody who offered 80,000. We were in escrow, and this guy flaked out on me, and so, So I said, okay. So you say you know, I mean, you will sell it for 80,000 right now? I said, well, yeah, but I couldn't get 80, you know. So I said, well, what's your goal right now? What will you sell it for on a quick sale? And so she mentioned the number 65,000, right? So I'm gonna kind of pull this, go back and forth right here, so that I can write some things for you guys, right? So she mentioned 65,000. So I asked her, okay, 65,000. In my head, right, I was thinking, well, if the property is only worth 80,000 and I'm buying it for 65, that's only like what, $15,000? Yeah, you know, that's only $15,000 difference, right? That's $15,000. That's not nothing to risk $50,000 to go to Illinois when I'm in California. So the spread wasn't enough for me. So I said, well, look, you know what? I probably cannot buy this property for 65, you know, because I mean, if all it's worth is 80,000. But let me ask you this, and that's the essence of this process, right? When you're talking to sellers and you want to ask them a question, this is something I learned in my car business. When you want to ask them a question, you ask for permission. Christina, right? So I said, that's the name. Let me ask you this. What is the least you sell this property for? If I give you cash so that you could go do what you need to do with your boyfriend or fiance. And so she mentioned that she needed at least $41,000. 41,000. Let's just write 1,000, right? 41,000 to get a boyfriend out of the jam that he's in. So I said, oh, okay, so if I give you 41,000, do we have a deal? She said, no, because I need another maybe $10,000 to move and do some stuff. Okay, so I said, so which means if I give you 50,000, we have a deal. And if you notice, 41 plus 10 is 51, right? But I didn't offer her 51. I said, if I give you 50. So which means I just made another $1,000. Given the fact that after agreeing on this 50,000, she said yes. So I now say to her, okay, let me do this. Let me check this property out, see how it checks out, okay? And so what I did next, right? So I go back here. So right here, okay. What I did next is that I went online, I ran my own comp, right? And I noticed that this property at some point was listed for 125. It was at one point listed for 125K. Okay, so I now make a call to an agent. I Googled agents in Brighton and near Brighton in Illinois. And so I spoke to 3 agents, I think, right? 2 of them, one said she would call me back, one didn't return a call, but one returned his call. And I told him, look, I'm looking to buy a property in your city. And when I'm done buying it, I'm looking for an agent to list it for me. But prior to that, I want you to give me some comps. I want you to go buy the property and check it out for me. And she said, oh, no problem. Now, And he said, what's the address? Well, I was hesitant to give the address. You know why? Because at this point, all I had was a yes from the owner. I didn't have a contract. I don't want some agent going there and spooking the owner and now telling the owner, look, I can get you 125. Now, I didn't give the agent the address, but I gave him the area, right? I told him a few things about the property. I said, look, this property is in your city. The word city again. It's a village. It's in your village. It's 2,000 square foot. Even though it's only 2 bedrooms, it's about a third of an acre. Okay. So I gave him the general area, and I said, you know, I'll give you the address tomorrow, but what do you think you can really sell it for without driving by? Okay. And so he gave me several scenarios and said, well, you know, without seeing this property, I can't really tell you much, but I have some people right now that are looking to buy properties, you know, that you described, similar to what you described, that will pay on a quick sale, you know, up to $110,000, right? But if you really want to sell quick, 80,000. So the moment he mentioned 80,000 to 110,000, okay, that tells me right there that, hey, so let's just take the lowest one, 80,000. I will be buying it for 50,000. So that's $30,000 right there, profit. Now, mind you, this property doesn't need any major surgery. Maybe the most paint and, you know, clean up. So I know there's $30,000 profit right there, without him seeing the property. So I said, okay, let me call you back tomorrow. So what did I do? I immediately called the owner, right? And this yes, I now converted it into a contract. I solidified my offer with a contract. Okay. Now, you know, most people, I'm going to show you my contract right now. Let's see right here. Okay. You guys see my elaborate production, right? You just pretend like you're in class, because when you're in class, your teacher takes all these graphs and all these papers, you know. Anyway, so I label this section like 5 moves, right, or steps to $75,000, and I'll tell you how I got to 75,000 right now. I mean, that doesn't mean I'm going to make 75, right? So buying in a house long distance. So I now converted my yes, verbal yes, to a full contract, right? Okay. Now, the moment I did that, I now told the agent, I gave him the address. I had some pictures before, prior to that. In fact, before I did this, I had the owner send me all these pictures by email. Okay. So the owner sent me all these pictures, okay, proving to me that the property is in good shape. The property is in good shape. I now send the owner email through DocuSign. Okay, look at my contract. Very simple, because real estate contract, especially, you know, with agents, usually it's about 30, 40 pages long. And there's all kinds of stuff in there. And mainly it's used to protect both the buyer and the seller and the agent. You know, me as an agent or broker, I'm a broker, I use it and it's good. I mean, it's supposed to protect the whole process. But when you're dealing one-on-one with the owner, real estate contracts requires only few things, okay? Under the law, all real estate contract must be in writing, okay? I think it's because of the statute of fraud or something like that. So because he said, she said, the court don't recognize that when it comes to real estate contract. So under the law, you're only required to have four things on it, right? You're required to have the offer, the acceptance, consideration, time of performance, and what you're buying. As long as you cover those 4 items, that's it. And that's why sometimes I write my contract on my yellow pad when I'm sitting down with the owner. So I send the owner this contract. It says right here, you know, I will buy this property for $50,000, right? Seller agrees to sell it to me for $50,000. That's my offer right there. The seller signs it. That's the acceptance right there, right? Okay. And then I put my conditions in there, right? That's my offer price, because you must have a price in the contract, okay? Time of performance, it says right here, buyer being able to gain access to the property and approve the interior on or before December 5th. That was a condition, right? The reason I put that there is that if for some reason I send my real estate agent in there and these things that the seller, the pictures that seller sent to me varies from what the agent sent to me, right? Then I could just tell the seller to kiss my behind, okay? And tear the contract off. So I put that condition in there, okay? It's another way for me to decide, well, you know, my cat ate my dog ate my own, or whatever. I just didn't like the area. Something spooked me about the deal, and I just back out. I didn't like the pictures. So you always put a contingency there for yourself, right? And out, in case you decide, you know, you woke up this morning and you cut yourself shaving and say, oh, screw this, I'm not going to work today, I'm not going to buy anything today, right? Then I put another condition. It says right here, buyer, the offer is conditioned on the following terms: access to the property, buyer obtaining a satisfactory termite and inspection report at buyer's sole cost. So I will be paying for the inspection. I mean, for $300 or $400, it's worth it before I risk $50,000. Okay. Property shall be sold free and clear of all encumbrances. Now, all encumbrances means that there's nothing hiding. Obviously, a title is going to guarantee that. A title commitment will guarantee that. But you never know. That's another way for me to back out, you know, in case something comes up on title. Okay, even before title clears it, I could just say, forget it. And which happened, okay? Because when I got the title commitment and we were ready to close, the title officer told me, well, we can't really close because there's a loan showing on this property. I said, oh, okay, whatever, let me get out, right? I said, well, the lady or the owner told me there's no loans on it. They said, yeah, but you know, obviously they forget to record the reconveyance or whatever. So I said, fine, you check it out before I wire my money. So while title was doing that, right, I had gotten my inspection report. Okay, but this is my offer and acceptance right here. So I ordered my inspection report. It took a while because the owner told me that she had an inspection report. So I spent like a couple of days trying to chase down high inspection report. When I couldn't get it, so I ordered mine. And mine is like a 44-page inspection. I looked at it. You know, usually inspectors, and that's another thing you could really use to spook a seller. Okay, so I looked at the inspection, right? And the inspection report always highlight things that sometimes scare other people. And if you're a novice or you're a homeowner, you want to buy a house and you want to live in there, okay, your agent will probably tell you, or, you know, I mean, not that they mean to scare you, they have to protect themselves. Say, oh, well, you know, well, mold, especially when you hear the word M. I mean, to digress a little bit, I once bought a property in Anaheim, California for $1. Right? Okay. And you know why? Because the word M showed up. The property was owned by the bank. I called the agent and I said, how much they want for this property? It It was a mobile home in those days. This property was worth like $80,000. And the agent says, well, the bank wants like, I think 40,000 or something. I said, really? I said, well, let me go take a look at it. So I went there and I looked at it, and this thing was covered in mold. But the mold was all fresh because the owner wanted to stick it to the bank and left the water running before they were able to turn it off, and the whole house was soaked. And so it was mold. So I took detailed pictures, magnified detailed pictures. So I sent it to the agent. I said, look, I want you to send these pictures to the bank, okay? Because they want 40,000 for this property. Just send them the pictures. Have you been to the property? The agent said, well, I had somebody go take pictures. I said, well, have you been lately? And he said, no. I said, well, here are the pictures. Please send it to the bank, and you tell the bank this, that if they try to sell this property to somebody, they could be liable and be sued forever, right? So I put the little scare tactics in that, right? And the agent said, well, the bank will never discount it. I said, look, I'll buy from the bank, okay? I'll take it from their hands, but they're going to have to pay me to take the damn thing from their hand. This agent was like shocked. And so he said, so how much are you offering? I said, you know what? I will offer them $1 just so that, you know, so that we have some kind of exchange of value, right? For value received. I'll offer them $1. Okay? And I'll write the contract to where they will pay the mobile home, the space rental until we close. Okay? And maybe pay the next one too. And the agent says, there's no way the bank will accept this. You got to be out of your mind. Who do you think you are? I said, look, just look at the pictures, send it to them, and see what they say. And so he sent it to them, and he came back. The bank says, yeah, we'll take it. You know, we don't want to be liable. We're scared too of mold. Shit. And so we signed the contract. I took possession of the property. When we closed, I got a check for $1,500 just to pay the space rent for 2 months. Okay? I put $1 in escrow, $1. Anyway, so when I got this report, there were certain things in there that I could have used to spook the owner. I looked at it, then I said to myself, well, you are already making a ton of money on this property, right? So there's no need to spook the owner. Because I could have just called you and I said, look, here's the inspection report, you look at it. You know, that 50,000 I offered you, I'm going to lower it by 10 grand, you know. But sometimes you don't want to overdo it, okay? The lady was nice. She needed the money. She was fair. I want to be fair, you know, so there's no point in trying to squeeze her. Plus, I have like $75,000 to play with, even if everything goes crazy, okay? Because since I'm in California, 1,800 miles away, if things don't work out, I could always jump in a plane and go sit there for a week and supervise the rehab or whatever. But you never have to do that. So we got the title commitment. We closed escrow, right? That's my closing statement right there. What else happened? When now, prior to closing escrow, one of the things I always put here is that in my offer is the look, especially even when I'm buying property on my base, right? In my base, I always put there if the owner, because when you're not dealing with agents, usually most of the properties the owner is still occupying it or their relative. So I always put there a contingency that property has to be vacant at the close of escrow, right? So here I didn't put it. So prior to closing, I called the owner, right? I said, look, usually the way our process works is this. I'm gonna wire your funds tomorrow. You know, since we're not gonna get the keys and you're gonna still be in the property, I give her 1 week, which we agreed with. We agreed in my original contract. It says right here, the closing of said property shall occur 10 days after buyer satisfaction of termite, right? seller to vacate property no later than 10 days after close of escrow. So I give her 10 days to move. But then those 10 days sometimes have turned into months, you know, because the moment they get their money, they got you by the balls, right? And when somebody got you by the balls, the rest of your body is going to follow. That's the way they say. Seriously, if you don't agree with me, test it. So, you know, the moment they get their money and they are occupying the property, you have no control anymore because they're inside. You can't just go in there and kick them out. If they refuse to move, you have to do an eviction. And so to safeguard the cost of eviction, right, and the cost of fighting, I always hold some money in escrow. And you should hold enough to where they're motivated. And so usually I will put in my contract, seller to vacate by so date. If you do not vacate by so date, then you will pay $300 a day rental. I make them sign it. Nobody wants to pay $300 a day for rental. They might as well go live in the Trump Tower for that kind of money, okay? But I didn't put it here. I just told her to vacate. But before the close of escrow, I now called her and I said, look, Christina, this is what will happen. I think my assistant just showed up. I'm recording this at home, so I gotta open the door for her. Hold on. If you go that way, you're gonna get on the video, right? Okay, so that's my assistant right there. You can see her. She didn't want to be on YouTube. Anyway, so I called Christina. I said, look, this is the way it works, okay? I'm gonna wire your funds tomorrow, but since we're not gonna get the keys till 1 week later, we will normally hold some money in escrow. So in your case, I'm just gonna hold $3,000, okay? So when we get the keys the following week, then I will tell escrow to release that money to you. And she said, oh, sure, no problem. So I now call escrow. I said, look, this is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna wire all the funds, but I want you guys to hold three grand. I'm gonna write a little amendment for the seller to sign. And the escrow told me, oh no, don't worry, we'll do that for you. But usually they don't even do that here in California. I was shocked when this escrow told me they would do that. Because usually here in California, they make you write the amendment yourself, send it to the seller, you guys sign it and put it back in escrow. And it's the same for some American title, so I don't know why it's different in Illinois. So, so I told the escrow guy, what's his name, Tyler or something? Tyler, yeah. So, okay, fine, you do that for me, yeah. So he did it, sent the paperwork back to me. I signed it, sent it back. And then I think something just popped in my mind that occurred prior to the closing. You know, hopefully I'll remember before I end this. But so I got the closing statement. Okay, normally if the owner had insisted, okay, she would have netted. Netted means you know, she will have had a net of 50 grand, right? 50K. But based on this, she paid her own escrow fees, I paid mine, and so my wire was only like $48,000. Now, I was trying to get a loan, okay, but I couldn't get a loan commitment on time, so I figured I just do it with, you know, my funds, so that by the time I get the loan, then I can use the loan to replace it, which happened, you know, a few days after I already closed. Okay, so let me go back here. Let's see. Okay, so some of the steps that I've covered, I think I've covered all of this, right? So I now call my agent back, you know, and I say, look, send me a contract, listing contract, okay? Go to the owner and get an extra key, okay? The reason I wanted to get an extra key is that, look, even if she doesn't vacate, I have a key to the house, all right? I could just give it to my handyman to go in and occupy the place. Or you shouldn't do that. You know, so I have the keys, The lady was very nice. We spoke back and forth. She was really, really gracious. And to her, I was like Santa this Christmas. I was Santa for her. I was Santa for the guy that brought me the deal because he got a check for 5,000. This owner got a boyfriend out of Saudi Arabia. Come to find out, while I was talking to her, the boyfriend committed some religious misdemeanor, I would call it, because it's not a crime. I mean, I guess over there is a crime. During the Ramadan fasting, you cannot be caught eating during the day. I guess all the restaurants will be closed and everybody will starve all day. I used to do that when we were kids, pretend that we're fasting, and I'll be I would be drinking. I would go to the tap and pretend like I'm washing my mouth, and I would drink a gallon of water. That's what this guy was caught drinking water during the Ramadan. So they held his passport, and the seller was telling me he needed like $41,000 to get himself out of Saudi Arabia. But I ended up with a property. She ended up with her money that she wanted. My locator got some money, and all around everybody won, which is the essence of this process, right? My assistant got a bonus. Okay, escrow got paid, title got paid. The city is probably going to get some money from me. Utilities are going to get money from me. So you could see how real estate has its tentacles all over the place, helping everybody out, creating economic activity. And if you're not involved, you should be asking yourself, why? Why am I not involved? Because not only can you create money for yourself, you could create money for other people. And so when I spoke to my property locator, and I called him that, hey, Jaco, you got some money coming? This guy was cracking because he was like, he wanted to cry. I said, why? He said, because I've never had anybody call me that they got money for me. And he said, Tony, you don't even know how valuable this money is to me right now. I said, really? He said, yeah. So obviously his answer, I mean, his prayers got answered. The seller's prayer got answered. My prayer got answered. And for those who are afraid to do this, in terms of long distance, right? Even though you need some experience, but if you look at the steps that I've highlighted, right? You evaluate the property, make sure it's fine, get an agent involved. All the time I had an agent involved, I thought about wholesaling it, but I had such a short time, and at the same time, I'm not really into this wholesaling thing. I don't really, because why would I give up $75,000 just because I want to make $5,000 because I didn't know the process? So I could have wholesaled this property for $5,000 and then leave $70,000 on the table. That doesn't make sense to me. Okay, so you do your verification, your property analysis, you make your offer, and you get your title commitment. So right now I'm protected. Okay. One thing I forgot that I need to do right away, which normally I do, and sometimes you have to do this when you get a loan involved. But sometimes when you use your money, you forget this step. I don't have insurance on the property, and I'm gonna get one today, pronto. Okay? Sawyer, I want you to find an insurance agent, okay, right now in Illinois. Homeowners, yes. Okay. We got to insure that property today. That's something that, if you guys notice, I didn't even talk about it. It just popped in my head. I don't have insurance, so if the freaking thing got caught on fire right now, I'm dead. Right? That's 50,000 gone. So today I'm gonna get insurance on the property. Okay. So going back to this, if you guys look at it, if the worst comes to the worst, right? I pay 50 for this property. Okay. Well, if I sell it for 80,000, that's $30,000 profit. Okay. Now, for those of you who don't know too much about property analysis, let me tell you why a lot of investors fail in this business, because they don't know how to analyze properties. Because the investors bring me deals, and then they find out that, and I tell them I don't want the deal, and they're like, well, what do you mean? Oh, there's money in it. So really, what money? Now, when this lady first called me and I checked the property out, okay, I figured I could sell this property for 125 if I decide to sit there, you know, market it properly, right? How did I arrive at my price? So you multiply that by 70%, 0.7, right? So what's 0.7 of that? Usually I try to do it in my head because 7 times 1 here is about 70,000. Let me get my calculator right here. So I got a calculator on my other phone. This is my iPhone 7. That's, you're watching me on iPhone 6, right? So let's see here, 125,000, 70%. Okay, so it's $87,000. Okay, so the most I could afford for this property, if it doesn't need any work, is 87,000. Okay, now, so after checking out the property, it doesn't need any work. Okay, if I go another 70% of this is what? Okay, 70% of this is $61,000. So 0.7, 61,000. That's the most I could have paid if the comps was this. Okay, so the after repair value is what they call ARV. After repair value is 185. Let's say it's another after repair value is 70. The most you could pay is 61. Now let's say the property needs about $10,000 worth of work. So say rehab. Let me put my phone down here. So you need a rehab, 10K. So the maximum offer on this property is $51,000. So if everything goes to the hell and handbasket, and I'm only paying like 50,000, okay, I have a spread of anywhere from 30,000 all the way to 75,000. So by the time I pay closing commission, sales, even if I have to travel back and forth, I'll take the, what do they call those flights at night that you take at night? Red eye. Even if I have to take a red eye for $100, I will fly to Chicago or Illinois myself if the agent doesn't perform. But right now I already made contact with the agent. He gave me a rehab person who called me this morning, and we're ready. As soon as the seller moves out, and I was nice enough because the seller was supposed to move out on the 23rd, which is 2 days before Christmas. So I said, hey, Christine, you want to spend Christmas there? Oh, she said, oh, will you let me do that? I said, sure, why not? I mean, it's not like I'm going to, drive to Illinois and occupy a property. She said, yeah, stay there till Monday. Don't worry. The other thing I did for this lady was that when we closed escrow on Friday, because of the glitch on title, in terms of the reconveyance on the other loan she had on the property, she couldn't get her money on Friday. And she was broke. She had no money. So I said, Christina, you have the keys? Because my guy is going to come and pick up the keys. And she said, well, Tony, I have literally no money to make extra keys. I said, really? She said, yeah. I said, well, you got your money today? No, I didn't get the money. They wired the funds. I couldn't get to the bank right away because of the complications and whatnot. So I said, okay. I said, here's what I'll do for you. I'll wire you $1,000. Okay? You could pay me back in escrow, so that the $3,000 I'm holding, when you give us the keys, it will now become $2,000. And she said, will you do that for me? I said, sure. So she started to pray for me. I mean, that would be nice. That's nice when people start praying for you, right? It means you've done something good. And she said, Tony, I didn't believe in the humanity of people, but now you make me believe. I didn't believe in Santa. Now you're showing me that there's a center there. So I gave her time, you know, I wired money to her right away. Within 5-10 minutes, she got the money, went to Walmart, picked up the money ground, $1,000, and you know, she went to town. She probably bought herself a drink. So the point is, everybody is happy. I'm happy. All I have to do now is go pick up my check for $75,000 or $30,000 or $40,000, whichever one I choose. Okay, so I hope you guys learned something in this process, and I hope I covered all the steps. But obviously, like everything else, you probably have questions. And if you have questions, you just email me or go to amazingtoyin.com, or you know, put your questions down below. Actually, you just put your questions down below. If you're watching this on YouTube or on my channel, put your comments below, right? And share this with your friends, your family members, because this is not just for investors. You might want to buy a property for yourself. Now imagine somebody living in Brighton right now who wanted to buy a property, first-time home buyer, who knows all these steps. Okay, she will be walking in with an equity. Here comes my cat. Who let you out? Who let the cat out? Come here. I want to scoop. Come on, teach them real estate. Oh, damn. Teach them real estate. Make you use your claws right here. Finagle, you want to go down? Okay, whatever. Bye. So let's say you just want to buy a property for yourself. And you know these steps, right? That's why you want to share this with your friends, your family members. You can see me, right? Is it still recording?
Yes.
Okay. What did you say?
Yeah, it's still recording.
Oh. So I didn't want to go too long. I'm already, 46 minutes? So, yeah, so if you have questions, comments, put it down below and I'll try to answer them. If you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're watching it, and then share it with your friends. You could become my friends on Facebook, right? Or go to Instagram and check me out and Snapchat. So this is Amazing Toyin. I hope you enjoyed this today's lesson and hope to bring you more of this in the future, right? So see you at the top. And remember, there's no business like real estate. And if there's no real estate, there's no business. All right? So see you guys later. Bye.